My Street One Last Time is going to be split into 2 parts. Season 7 is now Faded Memories, with Season 8 now being One Last Time. But is it truly the last time? Is there no hope for this world? And who is this girl with the wolf mask? Are they trying to stop the end of the world or prevent it? And what is this goopy monster that would even make Venom blush? What is going on? Well, viewers, I'm hoping to figure that out, or at least get very close to it. And let me just say, I think I somewhat successfully predicted this whole thing before it even comes out. Hello Internet! Welcome to Aphmau Theory! In case you've been living under a rock, Aphmau has massive plans with future roleplay content, with Mermaid Tales being teased, a new season of My Inner Demons, alternate season 2, and most importantly, 2 more seasons of My Street, with a possibility of diary stuff in the future. Now we can speculate all day about this, but what we're mostly here to focus on is our 2 new seasons of My Street, Faded Memories and One Last Time. Let's get this out of the way. I was right! If you all remember in my last theory video, I predicted that Aphmau would attempt to use her healing abilities to help Aaron become the person he used to be. And judging by this poster, yeah, I was right on the money. Let's fucking go. This is the same glow that we have always seen Aphmau use when she attempts to heal people. Now, sadly, that was pretty much all I was right about for the most part, but we'll talk about that a little later. But I think the idea is still there. In my last theory, I had also thought that Aphmau would take the Ultima Curse and store it in her body to use it to fight the comet and save the world. And that's why we can see her don the wolf mask. It was symbolic to her accepting the wolf side of her and harnessing it. And judging by the poster in season 8, it does appear that she is harnessing some kind of power. Look at that glow. It's very different to the one she's used before. Whenever she would call out this power, it was soft and gentle, but this one is sharp and jagged. It's power sparking from inside her, and this is very important for later, so keep this in the back of your brain for a little bit. But yes, one last time. Why is it the last time? And why is it not the last time for you all to subscribe? Trust me, this is gonna get very interesting, so you might want to do it. Yeah, you better do it. I'm watching you. Thanks to Jason posting everything wrong with Season 6, we now have a clear answer as to why it might be the last time. I speculated about this before, but Jason now confirms that the comet was here from the very beginning. It showed up way back in the past when Aphmau had become Irene, and Emmeline was there helping her for her research.
Alright, so there's a little bit to unpack here. So from all the flashbacks and interactions that we've seen, we can tell that Shad had some experience in this canon, which means that Hala and his civilization predates Irene.
And what we learned is that Hala's people built this celestial cannon to destroy the comet. But one thing I thought was very interesting was that Jason specifically says that Hala and his people built the cannon to protect the world from something they thought would destroy it.
But what it boils down to is that Hala's parents and their people are the ones who built this cannon, and they did so to protect the world from a threat that they thought would destroy it. But in order to do so, they all had to give up their lives in order to power it. This thing absorbs souls in order to fire.
That was some very specific wording, Jason. So I think this implies that the comet itself isn't a threat, or in any case, the actual main threat to this whole story. When looking at the new teaser trailer for One Last Time, we see that it takes its focus away from our characters that we know, and instead shows off this black goo, along with this monster being unleashed and attacking this random man. This black goo is the Void, and we've seen this before in a previous series called Void Paradox. The Void is very interesting. It has the power to create these things called alters, like it did with creating a fake Zane and a fake Lawrence, but we never knew it could create monsters, that it could create a Void Beast. Now, I don't want to say much because we know frighteningly little about the Void. As far as we know, it could do anything, and we just don't know about it. But from the few things we do know, it has the ability to take over those who have been marked, and those marked individuals are mostly mindless. They don't talk or show any personality, they just do what they are told, like when Lawrence's altar attacked him because he shouldn't be here. He's an anomaly. He belongs in a different realm. But for some reason, when we see this Void Beast, it instead attacks this man for no reason. And I don't know about you, but look at those eyes. I'm pretty sure we've seen those eyes before. But that's another theory for another time. When we cut back, we see this girl running through the snowy forest. And as she looks up, the comet glows a soft purple as it just hangs in the sky. Now, this is very weird. The comet is taking a lot of focus. It's maybe hinted at in the final scenes of Season 6, and we know that Hala's people thought it would be the world-ending catastrophe that would, destroy the world. And much like what Elizabeth tells Zach at the end of Season 6, the world has very little time left.
You were supposed to use the machine to get one relic, just the Ultima. And now, you have a broken Ultima, along with the celestial cannon at the bottom of the ocean. So much time and planning wasted.
I really don't care about the plan anymore.
So you're just okay with the limited time this world has?
We were wrong about Michael, He didn't want to help us. He didn't want to save anything.
That doesn't mean he wasn't right about the realm theory. If this world really is just another realm, then it too will fade.
If we are to believe that the comet is what ends the world, then why did Jason say this in the Everything Wrong With video? Also, it's strange how we have two giant catastrophes that will end the world. The comet and the void. That sounds like a lot for just one season of Maestry, don't you think? And yeah, sure, the void could be more focused on faded memories while the comet is more focused on one last time, but once again, that's still a lot. It's back-to-back threats. Especially when we know that faded memories is going to be all about Eren getting his memories back and trying to help him. So that means that the void and the comet is mostly going to be showcased in one last time. We know that the void is dangerous, there's a whole show about it. In Void Paradox, it's confirmed that the void eats away at different realms, and we've seen it do it before. So what if the comet is actually not that dangerous? What if it's not the real threat? It's a red herring. What if it's a sign? No, a connection between these two characters, or maybe just one? Who is this girl in the wolf mask, and why is she always being shown with the comet? Even in the trailer, it shows up and starts to glow right in front of her as she gets to this location, so she must have a connection to it. Well, let's go ahead and take a look at this poster. The comet is noticeably absent, and instead, we have a purple glow with what looks like a clock of some kind, with Roman numerals. Notice how this clock looks like a portal and has the same colors as the comet. This also appears to be in the sky, with a notable starry background. Something I also just noticed is, look at the comet in the logo. The shape is very similar to the power that Aphmau is holding in her hands. That's very suspicious. The Void Beast also wraps around this portal, making itself clear that this is the true antagonist of the series. As we look through this portal, we see twilight. The sun is either setting, or if you look at the teaser trailer, it's rising. It's almost morning. Why is this clock here? Is this actually a time portal, or is it symbolic? Does it simply mean that the world is running out of time, or is there going to be time travel shenanigans? Is it just a flash forward in time? And how does it tie together with this new character, if this character is even new? Let's start from the beginning. My first thought was that this was Aphmau. I mean, when you look at the logo, you see a girl with long hair putting on a wolf mask, and Aphmau has always been shown with long hair, except for season 6, but we're not gonna talk about that. Aphmau makes the most sense because not only has she been able to save the world before, she also has a connection to the comet. We know that Irene had used the celestial cannon multiple times and was one of the first people to ever wield a relic. Hala even mentions that the only person strong enough to wield a relic and defeat the demon warlock was a girl with raven hair. This obviously being Aphmau, or rather a different version of her. And as I mentioned before in my other theories, Aphmau is way stronger than we think. Aphmau in Minecraft Diaries was only able to use healing magic when she absorbed Irene's relic, yet our Aphmau was already able to conjure a healing spell and even take on 3 relics at the same time. And much like we see in the poster, she's harnessing power, possibly because her body has awakened to a higher form of power after holding 3 relics. So it makes sense that she is the only one capable of taking on the end of the world and saving everyone. It's literally in her DNA. Every version of her has done this before. But hang on, one noticeable difference is that the girl in the wolf mask has short hair. That's strange. I mean, look at the logo. Heck, look at the Wouldn't Change a Thing lyric video. They both depict Aphmau as the one wearing the mask, right? We could tell it's her because the long hair and the outfit. Aphmau is shown to be wearing her cowboy boots, jean shorts with a belt, a pink jacket with fur on it which she drapes over her shoulders, and a white sleeveless shirt that shows a bit of her belly with a heart design that covers part of her neck. And this new girl also has a very similar outfit. A white shirt that shows a bit of her belly, a jacket that hangs off her shoulders, shorts with a belt, boots, and even though Aphmau's shirt is covering her neck a little bit, our mysterious character is wearing a choker to mimic this. Even the jacket itself must be the same kind because you could see it cuff around her wrist and then it gets a bit poofy towards her arm. So what is going on here? Did Aphmau just switch up her outfit because things are getting more serious? Ah yes, the classic I wear black now because this show has stakes. Another strange thing was actually pointed out by one of my viewers, Haruto. The comet isn't consistent. Well, it is, but there's a small detail that everyone seems to miss. In every artwork or scene we get of the comet, it's always shown going towards the left, but only when Aphmau is there with long hair. When our character with short hair shows up, the comet for some reason is going towards the right, and thanks to Haruto, they were able to figure out that the mountains don't exactly match up. Instead, they are mirrored. These scenes are happening at the same time, and as far as we know, Aphmau can't be in 2 places at once, with 2 different styles and different lengths of hair. And that's not even the weirdest part. If we look back to these artworks, there's something else that we can notice. You could see here in the Wouldn't Change a Thing lyric video that the shorts and the boots don't match at all. Aphmau's boots curve downwards towards her shin, but here they remain flat and straight. And look at the shorts. Notice how that fur detail that was on the jacket is now on the shorts instead, just like our mysterious character. And what exactly does that mean? Well, viewers, I don't think this is Aphmau. This was possibly never Aphmau to begin with. But wait, if this isn't Aphmau, then how are they facing each other on opposite sides of the mountain? Is it truly time travel shenanigans? Well, that can't be right, because the comet is being shown in this exact same spot, but from 2 different angles, right? Well, I don't know honestly, but we'll get there. One final detail I want to point out before we move on is the eye color. Aphmau's eyes have always been this orange, light brown color, but if we look at our mysterious wolf girl, she has black or dark colored eyes. This could just be a lighting thing, especially since we can't see the eye color on the other artwork, so this whole thing might not be true, but I do think I'm onto something. Another strange thing that I want to point out is that this character looks like they are wearing a bow or a hair tie of some kind. At first I thought this was Erin's bandana that Aphmau tied around her eyes, but why would she do that? Also, look at the wolf ears. Notice how they are sitting at the top of her hair instead of looking like it comes from a mask? I don't know what to think of this, but this is such a weird detail. It could just be like artistic liberties, but I don't know. Let me know in the comments. Okay, so this isn't Aphmau, right? Well, maybe we'll get there. If it's not our Aphmau, could it be Void Paradox Aphmau? I've been seeing that around a lot lately, and it does kind of make sense. After all, she's currently dealing with the death of her own realm by the Void, so of course she would try and stop it in some way. Void Paradox Aphmau has stakes in this whole story. She has a reason to fight. Plus, both her and our mysterious characters wear darker clothing. Not to mention, our mysterious character wears this kind of white, bony wolf mask. Look at Void Paradox Aphmau's shirt, you could see this white skull design. And that's not exactly similar, but I just wanted to point that out because I think it's kind of cool. So could it be her? Maybe, but we don't have enough evidence for this. Why is she wearing a wolf mask? Why is she chasing the comet? There's nothing to really explain this. Void Paradox ended with Aphmau finally getting control back after the Void used her, and now she's gonna do something. I don't know. So yeah, it's a possibility, but so far there isn't much to go off of for her character. At the moment, there could be more, hold on. Another character this could be is the wolf girl we saw in season 4 Emerald Secrets. Tatiana, I think her name was. The reason people think this is because they both appear to have white hair, if you even want to call this thing hair. I'm gonna be completely honest, I don't see it. Yes, during the trailer we see those traces of white, but I think that's to cover her face better. I think that's just like the mask, but not 3D, painted on the skin, you know? Because the mask is not flushed up to her face. Yes, in the poster we do see that the mysterious girl has highlights towards the end of her hair, but not a full white strand. Maybe the white bang is actually covered by the mask, hence why you could see a little bit of white here, but that kind of feels like we're looking too much into it and trying to draw lines when there probably shouldn't be. Plus, look at the eyes, it's not the same. Another thing I want to point out is the storytelling. Tatiana's arc and story is over. It ended with Ian and her pack in season 4. There's no reason for her to come back. Yeah, it'd be cool to see her again, but clearly with the outfit, we're trying to make a closer connection to this character. So who else is left? What other character has room left to tell a story? Who has potential to come back? Well, what about Alina? She was able to not only time travel, so that's one checkmark, going into 2 specific points in time, one where the battle was already over and the other one was during, and she gave up a part of her life and power to save Aphmau. She is also a descendant of Irene and Shad, so she might be powerful enough to help save the world. But you could argue the same thing. The last time we saw her was in season 6 of My Streets. She fulfilled her duty by coming in and saving Aphmau from her fate. Even though she originally sought to see her mother, once she learned about Aphmau's fate, she sought to do something, and she only mentioned that she gave part of her life for this day, this specific day.
When I was young, I had a wish to see you again. But you still lived in an unreachable realm, so I had to meet someone else. After I met her, I had the chance to discover her fate, and I decided to do something about it. I gave part of my life for this day. This is my choice.
So her story is over. She accomplished what she wanted. She only sought to save Aphmau from her death. I'm assuming she couldn't see past that because once Aphmau died, well, that was it. It was done. Her story was done. There was no future. So she didn't know anything that happened afterwards. Not to mention, this part of the story closes the door on pretty much all of our Minecraft Diaries characters. Shad can finally rest with his daughter. We see the original Irene here in the background. Lord Aphmau has already lost all of her friends and is finally passing on. And Alina came in for one final appearance to bring our Aphmau back to life. And finally, the ending of the Demon Warlock in its entirety, along with relics and the Celestial Canon. All of this is done. It's over. So, it's not Alina then? Well, don't forget, before Alina left, in her wish, she gave Aphmau and Eren a present, a stocking with a letter A on it, meaning she's still going to be involved in the story, but just not this version of her. Another one. Do y'all remember back when I met Mrs. Jessica and Mr. Jason at VidCon over a year ago? One of the first things I asked them was, why was it called One Last Time? Is that related to the last episode of Her Wish, which also has the same title? And they told me, and I quote, "It was very intentional. For an entire year I wondered, why did they do this? How can this be important? Is it just for us to know that they would time skip to this moment? That it would eventually line up with this episode? Was Her Wish supposed to be the finale of One Last Time? Is it to say that Her Wish is still canon to the story since it came out in the middle of season 6 of My Street? No. It's because this episode sets up Alina, and One Last Time is focused on our new character, one we haven't seen before, one with a connection to both the Comet and Aphmau. This girl right here is Aphmau and Aaron's daughter, Alina from My Street. That's why there's a portal with a clock on it. We're seeing the future, her future. We know there might be some time shenanigans because when we first see the comet, it's over the moon. But as soon as the wolf girl shows up, it's way farther down, appearing right in front of her. We're seeing that now the responsibility is on Alina's shoulder. Because not only will she possibly have the power of Irene, she might have the Ultima curse because of Aaron. That's why she wears the wolf mask. Originally, I thought Aphmau heals Aaron to the point of taking the Ultima out of him. She took that dog out of him for real. But it makes more sense for Alina to inherit it instead. That's possibly why she wears Aaron's bandana here. It's her father's. He probably gave it to her so she can hide her eyes just in case. It's why the last scene of season 6, Elizabeth is telling Zach that the only thing to really stop End of the World was the Ultima's power. We're still gonna see that, but through Alina. This is Alina. I figured it out. Dramatic boom noise. Now, a lot of people already beat me to the punch, claiming that her voice is way younger sounding compared to everyone else we've ever seen before. And also because shortly after this trailer was posted, we got an Aphmau SMP video where Mrs. Jessica's real-life daughter gives Aphmau a dark outfit which is insanely close to our mysterious character's clothes. And yeah, it makes sense. The outfit came from her daughter, the wolf girl voice sounds young, mystery solved, right? Well, two things. One, this breathing sound that you hear in the trailer is actually just a soundbite that is readily available to everyone. Thanks to the user MonicoFish on Twitter, they were able to tell exactly where this came from. And just to double check, I did look up a playthrough of the game. But regardless, you are right that they sound young, and Aphmau wasn't the one voicing them, so it's clearly not her, or is it? And the second thing is, I don't actually like using the Aphmau SMP content as clues or evidence. The reason for this is because they reference My Street and other series a lot, and this kind of content isn't meant to be taken seriously because, well, it's just meant to be all fun and wacky times. Everything that they mention is just references and nothing more. We should only be getting clues and hints from My Street related things. However, it also depends on the content. If you all remember when Aphmau posted that Silent Hill video, it turned out that this was just a massive reference to Emerald Secret, and that's really cool. The whole video was just dedicated to it. So something like this would be okay for us to use for theories. But that's just how I feel about it. Honestly, I could be wrong on this, so let me know what you think in the comments. So yeah, we can infer that this character is Alina, and it mostly makes sense. I'll get to it, hold on. But why is she so important? And why is she following the comet? And how exactly is she connected to it? Well, if we reference back to the Everything Wrong With video, Jason showed off the diary entries of Hala's parents when they were making the Celestial Canon. And one thing that stood out to me personally is this specific line: 3 more rotations, we have 15 years left. It was always strange that Elizabeth told Zach that the world doesn't have this much time. But yet, if we are to believe that this mysterious character is Aphmau and Aaron's daughter, how does she have enough time to grow up? Well, I think this line says it right here. We have 15 years left. That means that this character is possibly around 15 years old. This is when it's confirmed that the comet itself is in orbit and it will destroy the world. But I hear you asking, why is this important? Well, those numbers don't feel like a coincidence either. I don't know if y'all remember, but in Minecraft Diaries Season 3, we first see Alina as a kid, and she's 3 years old. Alina is also goated when she was born, because Shad's relic just immediately went into her when she was a baby. It's kind of cool. She's pretty strong. The next time we see Alina is in Her Wish, and she's 15 years old. Her Wish also has 3 episodes. 3 more rotations, 15 more years. 3 years old, 15 years old. I stand my case. Now, I'm not really sure if that's a coincidence or not, but another thing to note is that the comet randomly appears right in front of her. Look at the beginning of the teaser trailer. The comet is above the moon in the sky, but when this mysterious character runs out of the forest, it appears right before her. Listen to that sound. Look at that glow. It was completely silent until it appeared right in front of her, closer than before. It's guiding her. It's calling to her. But here's where things get very controversial. I still don't think this is Alina. And yes, I know I just spent the past like 10 minutes talking about how they are connected in some way, but there's something I still can't shake. And I'm hoping to talk about it here and hopefully start a discussion. Here's what I think. This isn't Alina. It's actually the third piece of Irene. It's another Aphmau, a younger version of her. Let me explain. So, I find it strange how Mr. Jason didn't talk about the demon warlock mentioning the 3 broken souls of Irene. In the Everything Wrong With video, he covers the canon, the Ian plot, how Irene and Chad's daughter's in the afterlife. This scene where Emmeline and Kim are here looking at the Aphmau Irene. He bothered to guide us here and tell us, hey, this is important, but not here, not in this very specific moment. I think that's because if he would have mentioned the 3 broken souls, it would have given too much away. Think about it. If he went, at the demon warlock saying that there's 3 broken souls of Irene, then we would have been very suspicious. That would have been too obvious. Though little did he know, not talking about it made it even more obvious. It could also be true that Jason just doesn't know who it is. Jason said in the video that diary stuff was just a story to tell, and he only knows as much as we do. But he was also able to explain everything else, but this specific line, and that feels a little intentional. So I think maybe we should be keeping this in mind, maybe, I don't know, it's just a theory, yeah. Let's also compare the hair. Yes, the hair. We're looking at the hair details. Just like when Matpat would count the animatronic toes, we're counting the hair pixels. The one main thing holding me back from this being Alina is that the hair is completely different. Let's look at the shading and the colors on the mysterious girl compared to Alina. Now granted, one is an updated animated model and the other is from a couple years ago, so this might be a little unfair, but every character we've ever seen has remained consistent and had very little changes. Through every spin-off, our characters have stayed mostly the same. And if this is going to be Alina, you'd think it would look like Alina. We don't know for certain how old Alina is here, but she does sound young, so I assume she's about the same age as Alina from Her Wish, which is 15. Okay, then why is her hair different? Especially when you compare it to Aphmau. It's not the exact same, but it's super close. It's the same colors and is a very similar pattern. So it might just be another Aphmau instead. And that's my only source of evidence, thank you. Though I think the more likely answer is simply, it's not Aphmau or Alina. It's still Aphmau and Aaron's daughter, but just not Alina. Why do I think this? Well, going back to the hair detail, we see that Aphmau's daughter in the SMP videos, the hair shading is much closer to our mysterious wolf mask girl. And when you go back to the final episode of Her Wish, Alina asks Santa if her parents are here, even though a different version, does that mean that someday she will be here too? And Santa replies, I do not know, my lord. Those things are far beyond my knowledge. But that does not mean no.
If they're here, does it mean that someday I'll be here too?
I do not know, my lord. Those things are far beyond my knowledge.
Oh.
That does not mean no.
Maybe that line tells us exactly what we need to know and what is going to come. Or maybe it doesn't? Who knows? Anything is possible. But that's just a theory! An Aphmau theory! Alright, that's all I got. Thanks for watching. Massive thank you to Kim VA for staying up late with me and helping me theorize. And also thank you to my Discord server for being there with their ideas and letting me rant and just being amazing. Also thank you to Haruto for pointing out the mountain detail and how it's mirrored. That was super cool. Just honestly, thank you all so much for this.